Hey people, it's NIyas talking. Now this is another Black Heroes video. This is from Face to Face Africa. The heroics of Aunt Polly Jackson, who fought up white slavers to protect fugitives in the mid-1800s. Slave rebellions and protests were not helping enslaved Africans in America gain their freedom, and this led them to devise other forceful means of obtaining their freedom. After several attempts and ideas, it didn't take long until the Underground Railroad system was created between the mid-18th century to the early 19th century. With the help of abolitionists and freed slaves, secret escape routes were created to help slaves escape hard conditions in the South and obtain freedom in the North or in Canada, where they would be given land and jobs to help start life. The routes were popularly known as the Underground Railway. The loss of slaves and labor on the plantation owned by white enslavers began to have a toll on their production and income, and it did not take long until the anti-abolitionists came up with the Reserve Underground Railroad system, where escaped slaves were recaptured and brought back to their plantations or sold to new owners. The Reserve Underground Railroad system became very successful, and many anti-abolitionists disguised themselves as abolitionists, eager and ready to help fugitive slaves. Many of the recaptured slaves were trapped in houses, attacked and injured to prevent them from moving. A few were killed for resisting. Soon the Underground Railroad system became a dangerous route, but many hopeful slaves risked their lives to escape into freedom. It took the courage of freed slaves like Aunt Polly Jackson to help fight off anti-abolitionists and help fugitives escape or continue to hide their trip to freedom. After extensive research, nothing much comes up on the earlier life of Aunt Polly Jackson, a middle-aged woman who courageously fought whites who captured free fugitive slaves. A former slave herself, Aunt Polly Jackson was fed up with the harsh treatment that was meted out to her even in her old age, and decided to escape to freedom. Through the Underground Railroad, she escaped and ended up in the North, settling in Ohio in a settlement known as Africa. Established near Ripley in Ohio, Africa was a settlement of escaped African Americans who had been offered land to settle. The settlement was along the Underground Railway route, and fugitives could decide to stay or continue up north after resting. Anti-abolitionist Aunt Polly was offered land and settled in Africa, starting a fresh farm to sustain a small farm to sustain herself. As they escaped, fugitives often passed through her land up north, and she saw for herself the various attacks by the anti-abolitionists. Realizing they were not being helped by any external means, Aunt Polly decided to take matters into her own hands to protect, rescue, and help runaway slaves. She dressed up as a weaker old lady who would not be attacked. For the anti-abolitionists, older people were of no interest and were often left alone. She carried a cloth which she wrapped around her shoulder to hide her butcher knife and a kettle of boiling water. With her kitchen weapons, Aunt Polly managed to fight off several slave capturers along the Underground Railroad. Many of her attacks were at night, and she often poured hot water on the slave hunters when it could not be fought off with a single knife. After dealing with the abolitionists, she hosted the fugitives in her house and helped them with their directions if they chose to continue their journey. Soon the legend of Aunt Polly became widespread, and several similar attacks of white enslavers along the Underground Railway route began to happen. Attacks started to get more deadly, resulting in the death of many white slave hunters, but the tricks of Aunt Polly Jackson helped suppress the reverse railroad system. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that. Please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. I'm going to leave this article in the description. If you'd like to support this channel, leave my GoFundMe in the description. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, I'll leave it there as well. If you want to buy one of my t-shirts, I'll leave that link there as well. Peace.